Fall camp starts tomorrow.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson. That's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein. That's him. Want to thank you everydayers for being here every day. Thank you newbies for being here today. And thanks everybody for making us first listen every single day. You guys are the best. And if you are an everydayer, then you know yesterday we promised a special guest. We lied. We didn't know we were lying.
I'm a lawyer. Why does anyone expect any different?
Well, this is the God's honest truth, y'all. Bear Fretwell was going to be on the show. We have been communicating with him. We were looking forward to it. We had it all set up to do the interview yesterday about 1 o'clock. And on his way home from practice, he had a tire blowout. He sent me a video of the tire and the blowout. Trust me, it was a tire blowout of gigantor proportions.
I wonder if that comes from being like so big, you know, you're 300 pounds, you're in your truck. And then see, I mean, I've had flat tires before too, and it just looks like any other flat tire anyone would get. But maybe when you're 6'6", 300 pounds, and then the tire, you know, malfunctions. Oh, it malfunctions.
Oh, his tire was, it looked like he had taken a big bite out of it. So we were communicating with him. We were trying to get it set up.
I would explain his toughness and tenacity and how good he is in the run game.
That's right.
Eating tires.
And so anyway, we were hoping to have him on today, and that's why we're late getting this out. But
it'll happen.
He had practice and conflicts and yada, yada, yada. So hopefully we have him on this week. I'm not going to even tell you when we're going to have him on again this week because I don't want to look like a liar again.
We don't want to lie again, but we probably will.
I mean, we're going to, just not about this.
More lies to come.
You know, it's like, what's that old line? I swear I'm telling the truth this time. So, anyway, let's talk fall camp. It's here. It's here.
A lot of people listening fall camp's already started for a lot of people listening. Just as we tape this, fall camp hadn't started because we're taping this on Tuesday afternoon, and fall camp starts early Wednesday morning. And I can't even explain how excited I get about camp starting. And it's just because now every day we get to talk about practice reports and not other things. The offseason is definitely over. The 2025 Alabama football team is on the practice field. They're working to get better. We get reports and video and practice photos, and our buddies and the media contingent are there. And my understanding is there's more access for the media this fall than there was last fall, which was a little surprising to me. They'll even be there. The media is invited to be there opening day. That was not the case a year ago. I think it was day 2 or day 3 before the media was allowed in. So we should get more video, more photos, more reports from the Charlie Potter types at BOL. And then the player interviews after practice. DeBoer and his staff, Alex Thompson, the media staff, they're very good with providing coaches and players after these fall camp practices. I love those interviews. I know a lot of people don't have enough time in their day to watch them because they're busy with work and their families and stuff. I'm not, because that comes first for me. But I watch all the interviews, and that's why I learn, frankly, a lot about what's going on with the team and the personalities. And I'm just. You know, one time, I don't know if you know the story, Luke, and you know so many of my stories. I only know most of your stories that involve raccoons. One year, it wasn't that long ago. Well, I say not that long. It was like 10 years ago. I had a lot of friends in the media crew, but I wasn't in the media crew at that time. But I had a lot of friends that were, and I sent like a group text thing because I was so excited. So fall camp was starting that day, and at that point it was a Saban year, and Saban didn't practice till the afternoon, right? So about 10 o'clock in the morning, I sent a text to about 15 different media guys, all like in a text group saying, the first one to print a practice report, I will buy you a 12-pack. They were like legit excited about this.
That's a good thing.
I did. And then I was so excited, to get the first one. And I won't talk about who won or how that went down, because he had a strange. The guy won. I'm like, hey, you won. What do you want? And he's like, what's that Louisiana beer? Abita.
Abita, yeah.
Abita, the purple. It was a purple
Yeah.
gator or something. And he's like, yeah, that. And I'm like, wow. All right, I'll drive to Louisiana and find it. But actually, my local grocery store had it, so I was able to deliver it to on. But he had to wait until game one, when I was up there. But anyway, the point is, that's how excited I get about fall camp. I was even doing that, offering 12 packs to whoever published the first practice report, because I just couldn't wait. And I am equally excited in 2025 as I was, 10 years ago. It's like Christmas to me.
Well, here's hoping whoever won that contest that you can't mention, probably because it would violate some of his AA rehab stuff. Here's hoping he's doing better today.
He's no longer with the Alabama media beat crew, by the way. Still in the business, but no longer. I might have chased him out. A 12-pack might have cost him his whole job.
There are some people that listen to this that are going to spend the rest of their afternoon figuring out who this is, right?
No, they'll never be able to, and I'm not talking about it. But it's fine. It's not that big of a thing, really. But I'm not going to say just because it was not a for public thing, or I don't remember it being. Maybe I said so at the time. Heck, I don't remember. It's like 10 years ago. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even in Alabama. I was with the wife on a business trip. We were in Louisiana when it happened on a business trip. I think I was in Baton Rouge.
So what do you expect tomorrow? I mean, is there anything that we're going to glean from tomorrow? I mean, look, let me tell you, the first day of fall camp, while super exciting, to me, I'm excited about it now. Tomorrow, when I get into it, I'm going to be like, hey, I didn't learn anything. It's going to be like the NFL Hall of Fame game. I'm going to watch it because it's football and I'm starving. And it's like Eddie Murphy used to talk about, that if you're starving and somebody throws you a cracker, you're going to think it's the best cracker you ever had. And so that's what it's going to be. But then I'm going to realize very quickly, oh, this is just some regular old saltine.
That's right. I can't wait for the NFL Hall of Fame game too, knowing full well in advance it's going to be terrible. It's
going to be a disappointment.
It's not going to be exciting. I'm not going to know most of the players on the field. The players on the field don't care win the game, and they're all just trying to make the team. And the coaches don't. Yeah. But, am I going to watch? Oh, heck yeah. I'll watch till there's zeros on the clock. Now, I do think we will learn some stuff on day one, and this is why. And this is sort of scary, and this is sort of a hold your breath thing. As much as I look forward to it, there can be some bad news. And this we had 15 players or more miss the spring because of injuries. They were recovering from surgery, or they were too hurt to participate in spring practice and the contact stuff. We had like 15 guys out. I'm holding my breath until I know that all 15 are accounted for and not wearing black tomorrow. And here's call it scoop. It's not really scoop. It's part guess, part scoop. I'll be surprised if there's not black jersey talk from DeBoer tomorrow in terms of maybe not everybody ready to go. But that's some of it. Like I said, is just a guess in this sense. There's 15 guys out for the spring. Oh, come on. Are all 15 going to be fine tomorrow? I doubt it. I doubt that. And that's without stuff from what I hear. So I think I'm anxious to, as much as I'm anxious to get practice video and practice reports and the photos from the beat crew, we are going to hear from DeBoer, and I'm anxious as to what he's going to say about the injuries. Everything else he's going to say is going to be the typical day one coach speak stuff. That's fine. I don't get upset about that. That's what I expect him to do. He's not going to give away to Florida State a game plan tomorrow. But I do think there will be some hard news as to who's practicing and who can't go.
Switching gears for just a second, Tank Jones, who is just like, he's played this so well. He's sort of the last of the giant fish out there for Bama. Now, there may be somebody that pops on the radar, all these other things. But, a lot of the 5 stars and the 5-4s that Alabama was going after, even some of the diamonds in the rough that Alabama targeted and wanted, they've gotten them. And Tank is the last man standing. And so everybody's focus is on him. In that way, it's brilliant. I don't think he meant it that way, though. I don't think that's the way he's wired. Wow. Now, the hints are flying that he's going to be announcing soon. In fact, some national prognosticators said, hey, we kind of expected him to announced last weekend.
Yep.
But he didn't. And so maybe he is legitimately struggling.
That's what
but
I
I'm
think.
going to say this again for the 1,000th time. I think he ends up at Alabama. I'm going to say with a 75% chance.
Wow.
That's high.
I'm not quite as confident, but I am well over 50%. I'll say to pick a number 60% or 65%, which I think is the famous Auburn number in terms of their confidence rating. I'm more like a legitimate 65. Okay, 66% to be 2/3. I'm in that range. What I am confident of, and I think there's more evidence of it, is the fact that some people thought he might have an announcement this past weekend. Didn't happen. I don't think the kid's made a decision, or if he has, he's just made it. And that's understandable. It's a big decision. We talked about it last week on the show with my wife and I's vacation next year. We haven't decided where we're going. We don't know. Tank has not known. And that lines up perfectly. It lines up perfectly with everything we do know, that Oregon's confident, that A&M's confident, that Alabama's confident. That only comes when they're hearing the right things from the player, and they're hearing the right things from the player if a player is legitimately, strongly considering signing with you. And the fact that he didn't announce this past weekend. So that's what I think. I think he's just struggling to make a decision, and I get that. These are 3 really good options for a defensive lineman.
We got to go to break in a second, but I equate it to this, and this is what I've finally decided about this. This is the way I'm going to approach it. I feel like it is Tank knows who he wants to marry, but he's having those, day before, week before, month before, whatever it is that kicks in for you in your particular marriage, those cold feet for just a second. Everybody who's ever been married has a moment. If you're saying you've never had that, I've been married twice, so I know it happens. That if you're about to marry somebody, at some point you go, man, am I doing the right thing? And then you don't have to convince yourself necessarily that you're doing the right thing, but it just sort of like the sensible part of your mind takes over and goes, of course you are, but it's also very normal to be like, it's like buying a car. You go buy a car and immediately you strike a deal with somebody and you're like, wait, should I have asked for another $1,000 off? And it's buyer's remorse immediately. So what I'm saying is, I think he knows he wants to marry Alabama. He's having some cold feet about it, understandably, because there's some other hot women out there, colleges.
You might be marrying. You might be marrying Beyonce, but it ain't easy to call up Sierra and tell her no.
Your R&B knowledge.
Was that it?
Never.
Are they a little old? Are they old? Should I have gone with?
Well, no.
Who's that South African? Taya. Have you seen her?
Why on earth would you want me to fact check this?
Yikes! I'm just saying that's who he should marry.
Oh my goodness.
That's who he should commit to. Taya. I recommend it. Y'all Google if y'all know what I'm talking about.
I can't believe.
I tried to go younger. I think you were trying to say.
I know.
If Beyonce and Sierra is the extent of your knowledge, I was going deeper there.
No, I was saying that's you lost me after Beyonce. But anyway, all right, 5 Hour Energy. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor to your favorite golf drink minus the alcohol. And it turns it into a quick, amazing shot, an energizing shot at that. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest. Some days on the course or some days off of it for yours truly, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. Look, I know that some of y'all are like me and you have little kids, you got to go chase them around and coach them in soccer and do all this. I need some extra energy in my life. This is going to help me. Look, but golf, it's all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape, ginger, lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to drink without chasing down the beverage cart. Now, That always helps. I always had to chase that girl down. If you go to 5 Hour Energy, that's the number 5hourenergy.com today, then you can use my promo code locked on golf to receive $20 off your first order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5 Hour Energy shots today because they're awesome. And I can't wait to go get me one because Jimmy zaps my energy with all his R&B knowledge.
I can't imagine you on energy drinks. You don't need it. I'm the one that needs it. You don't need it. I think they get it from you. They somehow
I'm the beginning of the transfusion.
You're patient zero in terms
of the fusion part of the transfusion.
That's right.
Anywho, roster countdown. We're on number 2 and number 1. Now, I want to tell you something. Number 2, who you're going to tell us right now, I thought we had already done him.
No.
And at first when I saw it, I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, yeah, I get it. Number 2 is
LT Overton. Best defender on this team, in my opinion. I think he's the best player on Alabama's defense this fall. I thought he had a case to be the best player on Alabama's defense last year. I mean, this is a really talented kid. And here's why, much like I was hyping up Proctor the other day at 4. And with Caden Proctor, I talked about how we have never seen Caden Proctor in shape, experienced, and healthy. We've never seen him. We will now. Here's the thing about LT Overton that we've never seen that we're about to see. He goes to A&M and he weighs 240 pounds. He plays a stand-up linebacker position for them. It doesn't work. It's ineffective. He wasn't a great player. Things weren't working out for him there, and in part because of the position he was in and the size and everything else, it just wasn't working. So he's like, I need a do-over. Goes to Alabama, which was his first or second choice out of high school, obviously second choice out of high school. And what's happened to him? He moves to a downline position and he's gained 40 pounds. This is not bad weight either. He's a monster. LT Overton played at A&M as a freshman at 240. He is now at Alabama over 280 pounds. And last year was his first season playing on the line of scrimmage, hand on the ground, banging heads with tackles. And what'd he do? He about led the nation in quarterback pressures and hurries. Now, there were only 2 sacks. I'm the first to talk about this. That's not good enough, LT. That's not good enough. He knows that better than anyone listening to this show or me. But his ability to win at the line of scrimmage, which means defeat his blocker, was fantastic. A+. It launched him onto the NFL radar. And had he come out last year, I think he's an easy 2nd, 3rd round pick, only playing that position for a year. Now he's used to being 280. He's played this position before. Like Kate, he's experienced now doing what we're asking him to do, and plenty big enough to do that. If he only improves by half a step, you're talking about a 6, 8, 10 sack season for LT Overton. I think he's the best defender on this team. I think he's going to play his way into the first round. And I think he's going to justify our selection as in the number 2 player on the roster, because it's us. You should sign off on that.
Yeah, I do.
Feel free to sign off or disagree.
I told you I signed off on it. A couple of things. Do you know his first name?
I think I did it.
What the L stands for?
Lebarius?
No, Lebbeus. I think Lebbeus.
EUS. There's not an R in there.
No, but I'll tell you, it's kind of disappointing. The second name
close. I thought it was Lebarius, but that was close.
I mean, Lebbeus Thomas Overton. I mean, it's like super creative and then just regular old Thomas. I mean, it's sort of like I told you about my friend, or not my friend, my brother's friend who went to Georgia Tech with him, Fabian Pouquan Earl Harper VI.
Yeah, we're not recruiting that guy.
No, there were 5 other guys that were stuck with that name.
LT is a good football name, though, especially if you're a defender that's rushing the quarterback. So now, I think he's aptly named.
I think so too. Now, a couple other just notes. I didn't know this before. everybody talked about during his recruitment that he was tied to Alabama. I think his dad worked in the athletic department
at one point,
but not like he wasn't a high-ranking official. He was, I think he was
in the athletic department.
Yeah, he worked in the athletic department. It wasn't like he was athletic director, as you know, but he was born in College Station.
That's right.
You know?
His dad worked in multiple athletic. I think Alabama fans at the time of his recruitment go, "Boy, his dad worked here. Boy, that makes him a lock." Well, his dad worked in multiple, and I think his dad right now is an athletic director. He's either the athletic director, Kennesaw, but he's either the athletic director or the number 2 or 3. I mean, he is a high-ranking guy over at Kennesaw, and was probably to some extent involved in the hiring of Antoine Petway. For their head basketball coach.
His dad played football at Oklahoma. His mom played volleyball at Kentucky.
He's an athletic kid.
The other thing to remember about him, I know he's been in college for a while. I know he's experienced. Just like Ryan Williams, he reclassified. And typical of reclassifiers. Typical. He got off to a slow start. We talk all the time here how Ryan's an exception to the rule, and I think we should start expecting that as reclassification becomes more commonplace. We should start expecting the reclass guys to get off to a slow start, always remembering, well, Ryan was an exception, and there can be exceptions to every rule. We know that with football, but the general rule, and they're talking about a guy playing in the front 7. I mean, this is just not built for high school 12th graders to go play SEC football in the front 7. It takes a hot minute with the strength staff before you're ready for that. All right. Speaking of Ryan Williams, who's the most important person on this team? Ryan Williams. Jimmy?
Number 1. Would you have gone with anyone else? Would you have gone with anyone else?
I mean, look, there are people I know, for instance, Doug Amos, whose show I go on in Montgomery on Wednesdays. I know that he was upset that Alabama didn't take Ty Simpson to SEC Media Days. And I think his thought is always the starting quarterback's always the most important person. Now he may not. I'm not trying to put words in his mouth. I wonder if some people think like him and would put Ty Simpson at 1 just for that reason. But Ryan Williams, to me, clearly the most important player. Clearly, he's such an anomaly. I mean, he's reclassification, first catch ever. His first 2 catches were touchdowns in Alabama, not just regular old touchdowns. The first one was like an 80-yarder. The second one was like a 50-yarder, and he broke 2 tackles. He made 2 guys run into each other.
Hit the spin move. Hit the spin button.
He's just a free. Well, actually, on that one, I don't think he spun. If I remember right, he planted and then cut back the other way, and the 2 guys sort of ran into each other. One guy was holding on to his foot. He almost tore his shoe off.
That's what I remember. The guy holding on to his foot. Yeah, Western Kentucky.
But he's just such a wonderkind. I mean, you know how much I hate that word.
I don't like that word either, but it's appropriate here.
But he is, and he's the personification of the word. And again, I know there are people out there going, well, he's not even as good as Jeremiah Smith. I'm going to say this. I think he can be. I think Jeremiah Smith is a freak of nature. Physically, I think Ryan Williams has an it factor, has something that because when you look at Ryan Williams, he's about 6 feet. He's about 175, 180. I mean, none of that. When you look at him, he looks stronger now because he's been in the weight room. He certainly has.
He has a physical transformation a little bit from last year to this year.
If he told you, I don't even play football, you could buy it. Jeremiah Smith, if he said, I don't play I've never played a sport, you'd be like, get out of here. You play everything.
If I was doing the same exercise at Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith would be number 1 on that list. Jeremiah Smith would be 100%. Number 1 on every single I think he's the best player in college football. I'd put him number 1, even ahead of Caleb Downs, who I would put way up there. I mean, to me, Jeremiah Smith's just the best player in college football. And Ryan, this is my thing for Ryan this year. What I'm hoping this, people like, what can he do next? Here's what he can do on the field better than he did a year ago. Separate more consistently. We saw him separate at times. I would like to see fewer contested catches and more just Ryan's open. I've always compared Ryan Williams to Devontae Smith. To me, they're very similar players. I started comparing Ryan to Devontae when Ryan was in the 10th grade. They're very similar players to me. And one of the things I always said about Devontae, my standard little comedic line, I don't know where Devontae Smith is right now. I just know he's open because Devontae stayed open no matter the coverage. That's where Ryan can improve. It's recognition of defenses. It's additional moves when you're in man coverage. I think Ryan's going to line up in the slot a lot this year, which we know last year he was lining up outside primarily. I think this year with the bigger guys, Jeremy Bernard and Zay Horton outside, we'll see Ryan more in the slot. That's going to give him some opportunities too. But get open and create some separation and make it easier for your quarterback and fewer contested catches. How many times last year did Ryan make the spectacular catch because the DB was right there in his face? Let's see a little less of that because he's open and Ty throws the ball accurately. And if he does that, Luke, I hope at the end of this season, we are ready to say, you know, at Alabama, you've got Julio, and then you got Amari Cooper, and then you got Calvin Ridley, and then you got Jerry Jeudy, and then you got Ruggs and Smitty and Waddle, and then you had J-Mo and Metch. Now Ryan belongs in that group. Prove that you belong in that group. Now, I know that's a high bar, but I think based on what we saw at last year's freshman, it's not crazy at all to say Ryan having a chance to prove he belongs in that group among the greatest wide receivers that have ever played football at Alabama. But we can sit here and talk about his talent all day, but it's got to be production. And last year was quite a bit, about 800 yards. He dropped a lot of balls too. He had 1,000 yards, if not for the drops. I bet that haunts him. I bet that, knowing the kid, I bet that haunts him. That was 1,000-yard season that slipped out of my hands. We're not going to let that happen this year. Alabama's also going to throw the ball more. I was looking at Ryan Grubb's time at Washington, Ty Simpson's style of play. Alabama's going to throw it more this fall. I'm convinced of that. More opportunities for Ryan.
100%. In fact, you sent out a text to our little group and said, you're rewatching all the games, and we haven't had time to talk about those rewatches because now fall camp's upon us. But and you mentioned, boy, I'd forgotten in the Iron Bowl, Ryan, he just flat dropped a couple of passes that if he makes those catches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll say one other thing in his defense. You mentioned about separation. I wonder if he has more separation than we know, and because Milroe's
quarterback
accuracy fell off and his, probably his confidence a little bit fell off towards the end, it didn't look like he was open.
Yeah.
Milroe
didn't all the time. Let's just be, friendly. Milroe didn't all the time put the ball exactly where it's designed by the OC for the ball to go. He wasn't the most accurate guy in the world. Now he's more accurate than his biggest critics say. As a matter of fact, in Seattle, the coaches and people watching practice are like, wow, he's an accurate pass. They're surprised how accurate he is. It doesn't surprise me. I'm just saying, I agree with Luke. I think some of Ryan's issues with the drops and some of Ryan's issue with not creating the separations because the ball wasn't where it could have been, should have been, and maybe ties that guy. So I think 1,000-yard season's coming up. What would rob him of 1,000-yard season this year is just simply sharing the ball with the depth of that wide receiver class. Zay Horton, Jeremy Bernard, Rico Scott, Jalen Mbakwe, Jalen Hale, those guys getting a lot of targets too could affect Ryan's overall numbers.
All right, so he had 48 receptions, 865 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 4 carries for 48 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm going to tell you right now, I would take the drops. I'm going to take the over on every single one of those numbers, including the rushing touchdowns.
I agree with that. If he caught 48 balls last year, how many drops? I don't think there were 10 drops, do you? But does that sound
no,
in the
but
ballpark?
I'll tell you what, I think there were some targets that were so far off target that you can't call them drops, but I mean, it's like he would have caught them under other circumstances.
There were probably 6 absolute just drops. And the game when I was texting you guys was the Auburn thing. That was a drop. That was a great throw from Jalen, 55 yards, if I remember right. When Ryan was behind the Auburn defenders, behind him, ball hit him perfectly in stride, right in the hands, contact from the Auburn guy. Ryan just drop the ball.
Didn't he drop one against LSU like that too? That would have been a touchdown.
That is correct. Yes. And he had the touchdown pass, which was 30 yards taken away from him by the refs in the Oklahoma. That was just taken from him. Had some drops against Oklahoma and 18 targets in the Tennessee game. And I think that was one of Jalen's worst days. Of those 18 targets, how many of those should have been more catchable balls? So Ryan really put together a 1,000-yard season a year ago as a true freshman 17-year-old. That's why he's number one on this list. We started at player 82, counted all the way down to an 18-year-old who, in my opinion, and Luke agrees, and I think most of y'all listening, he's the best football player on this team. Hey, I'll throw this little inside scoop in. This is secondhand from a coach, but I heard in fall camp, someone asked a coach privately, how about Ryan? He said, he's probably the best player on the team. And I thought, come on. He is now. He wasn't wrong.
Yeah,
he wasn't wrong.
He just jumped on that bandwagon early. All right, that's going to do it for today's pod. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.